Hey everybody, welcome to Lore Friday, and this time we're going to be taking a look at another adventure from the Out of the Abyss campaign. This one from Chapter 3 is called Sloobludop. Sloobludop is a city of the Kuo-toa people. Now, this particular adventure, again, comes from Out of the Abyss, published in September of 2015, and it is tuned for Tier 1 Level 4 characters. The theme of this particular adventure is to escape from the city of the Kuo-toa. You might recall when we first talked about the Kuo-toa in the Dark Lake in the last adventure, we said that all of the encounters with the Kuo-toa start off as hostile. Kuo-toa are xenophobic, and they don't like people that don't have fins and gills. Now, the setting for this particular adventure is the Kuo-toa city of Sloobludop, which is located in the Dark Lake. The hook, or the teaser for this particular one, is that the party are in Sloobludop, and they find the city teetering on the edge of civil war. Can they escape without getting caught in the crossfire? Now we come to the summary of the adventure, and before we start that, I want to remind you, if you've watched this far, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and click the post notification bell so that you get notified every time new content drops. Alright, so getting back to the adventure, we're going to give you a little summary of this, and I'm not going to give everything away here. Now, as a rule, we've already said Kuo-toa are not friendly to anyone that's not Kuo-toa. They are as xenophobic as the Drow. Fortunately for the PCs, they're not quite as organized nor quite as intelligent as the Drow. But they believe their dark gods demand blood sacrifice, and the blood of outsiders will do just fine. When the party arrives in Sloobludop, they discover that the city has not one archpriest of one religion, but two. And while the two are related, one is the father and one is the daughter, events that preceded the party's arrival have made these two archpriests bitter rivals and enemies for the hearts and minds of the people of the town. So for anybody that needs a reference outside of D&D, the Kuo-toa were, in my opinion, the primary inspiration that Blizzard used when they were making the Murlocs from the Warcraft universe. They have very complicated sounding names, and their language is described as sounding like they are talking through bubbles in a similar way that the Murlocs of Warcraft do. So the party will learn the names of several different Kuo-toa, but the two most important, and I'm putting their spelling on the screen for a reason, the two most important of these are Pluplupean, the archpriest of the sea mother Bildulvulplup, and his daughter, who is Blopblipbod, who is the archpriest of Limogugun, the Deep Father. So trust me, if you say all these names too fast, you'll make your players' head spin and probably have them rolling with laughter at the table. I mean, can you really say Pluplupean 3 times fast? Blip Dulvulplup 3 times fast? Blopblipbod 3 times fast? Or Limogugun 3 times fast? I don't know. Try it out. Funny names or not, the players need to be on their guard because some of these encounters can be deadly even before the main attraction of this adventure shows up. So if the party are lucky, they will be taken to the traditional spiritual leader of the city, Pluplupean, and he will pronounce their arrival as a sign of good omen from the goddess he has followed all of his life. He has decided that his wayward daughter is so far gone that she has to die, and he believes that the PCs can give him the edge he needs to defeat her. So he proposes to use them in a ruse. The ruse is this: "Oh, brave PCs, please allow yourselves to be taken by me and my followers to Bloplipod as a sort of peace offering. Now, my daughter's going to want to sacrifice you to the Deep Father. But of course, brave adventurers, myself and my followers will have your backs, and will use this as an opportunity to attack and destroy the upstart cult of Limugugan here in their fair city, because Limugugan is going to do nothing but cause trouble. Yes, someone the party doesn't know wants to make a ruse of using the party as an offering of blood sacrifice in order to attack the enemies of this person that you've just met and you still don't know. And they want your help doing it. So, it doesn't really matter how good your persuasion dice are. You have to have players that really trust you're not going to try to screw over their characters if they are ever going to want to agree to this plan. So from this point, I really don't want to say too much, because the way this adventure plays out, at a certain point, wise players are going to realize that their best play is running as far and as fast as they can. Otherwise, they're going to wind up rolling new characters at the end of the session. Trust me. That's going to happen if you're bringing them in here at 4th level. The most common enemies that you are going to find in this particular adventure are kuo-toa. And the toughest set encounter is 1 kuo-toa whip, which is a CR1 monster, 2 kuo-toa monitors, who are CR3 monsters, 6 regular kuo-toa, who are CR1 quarter monsters, and a kuo-toa archpriest, CR6. That's 10 enemies that you would be fighting. That's the toughest encounter that the PC should even attempt to face. And that's only if they have other kuo-toa allies fighting alongside them. If they stay around too long, they will have to deal with a CR26 Demon Lord that shows up to turn the kuo-toa Civil War into an all-out massacre. And 4th level PCs, they're just gonna get slaughtered right along with all the kuo-toa if they try to stay and fight. Special creatures or items that are in here, there's a number of different casts of kuo-toa that are presented in this adventure. And there's also an appearance by this guy. And he's in a whole class of unique badassery all by himself. My favorite element of this adventure is the setup of a settlement divided against itself. I think it's really well done here, because you have these fault lines of competing religions that are antithetical to each other. And really you begin to see how these factions form. However, something I think is not done particularly well here, there's really no time for this tension and these factions and this divide to be explored, discovered, and exploited by the PCs, possibly to their own advantage. You could take the way this settlement is divided, and you could use that as a model of how a community tears itself apart. But for a certain type of player, and this is your player who really enjoys role play and investigation, for a certain type of player, it would be a lot more fun to be in that settlement at or near the beginning of this split, and then watch the factions and fault lines develop over time so that they can begin to figure out where the different factions lay. And they can discover that for themselves, and they don't have to have a narrator NPC tell them what's going on. Asking the PCs to take sides based on the words of what is essentially a captor feels a bit forced, and it feels very contrived. Now that's just my opinion. I like the fact they have it set up. I think it's a good model for showing a community in crisis this way. However, I think that it needs more time to breathe and grow in order to be an interesting element of your campaign. Perhaps a town like this that is going through this would be a base of operations for your characters for several levels. And as they go out adventuring, they leave and the town is in one state. They come back and they realize, hey, things are a little bit different. Then they leave and they go out for another adventure and they come back, oh, things are getting a little bit worse. And if they have trusted people they talk to, perhaps people they trust that are on both sides of the schism, they can begin to explore and understand and discover what's going on for themselves. That, I think, would be a better way of dropping this into a homebrew campaign. So the easiest homebrew adaptation for this is it's suitable for any campaign where your PCs encounter a settlement full of kuo-toa. Of course, if you don't have kuo-toa but you like the layout of the city and you like the theme, you could just strip out the population and replace them with another race. And you could put this settlement anywhere that's convenient. Put it on the surface, put it, in some caverns that are not underdark. Put it on another plane of existence if you want to, the Feywild or something like that. So you could do all of that. You can easily use this with other editions because kuo-toa have been around for many editions, and they would be just fine in an older edition game of D&D. All right, well, that's going to do it for our look at Sloobludop. Next time, we are going to take a look at the following chapter in the book, and we are going to kick it up to an adventure that is for at least level 5 and tier 2 characters, and that will be exploring the city of Gracklestugh. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and once again, if you watched this far, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and click the post notification bell. I have been DM Gallibond. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great week. Good night, everybody.